If you're into self-improvement, you've heard everyone talk about how you should be reading. However, most books are actually just a waste of time. I've read a lot of books on self-improvement and personal development. And sure, while there's paragraphs here and there that can help you, the amount of value that you get from certain books compared to the amount of time you spend isn't worth it. Your time is more valuable than most books. Most books just have a bunch of words just to make them longer. My name's Andrew Lapa, and in this video, I'm going to show you 4 books that actually changed or improved my life. Let's dive in. Alright. So, the first book on the pile is Opportunity Knocks by Pat Mesiti. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. This is a pretty short book, very easy to read, but basically it's all about how you can start looking around you for opportunities and start recognizing opportunities. This is actually one of the first books I read all the way back in early 2023 when I was starting my self-improvement journey. And yeah, it really just opened my eyes, realizing most things that happen to us are actually opportunities, even if we don't realize them, right? You say hi to someone randomly. That could be an opportunity. Someday that person could be your business partner, right? So I highly suggest you read this book. I like this one too because it's really short, and that's because it should be short. Someone could write a book about this, that's this big, but you don't need to, because this just, every paragraph, every sentence actually has interesting value and stuff. And so yeah, highly recommend you check that out. Now, the second book I have, also another one that I read pretty early on, is The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Now, this is actually one of my favorite books, and this really helped my mindset when I was starting my self-improvement journey, and that's why now I make videos on mindset and stuff, and a lot of it comes from this book. So this is if you've ever read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, this is sort of like that. It's a little more on the Christian side, so if you don't like that, then maybe you won't like this book. But it has the same idea of how your mind can achieve a lot more than you think, and it's way more powerful than you think, basically. Because really, your thoughts do shape your actions, as cliche as that sounds. Alright, next one. Hopefully I'm not going through these too fast. I didn't really want to break down every single book a bunch, because you can just go look up summaries or just get the book and read them. The next one is Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal, and I have talked about this in a few of my past videos. I really like this book because it just makes sense. It just makes sense, and I didn't really realize it until he started talking about this on his YouTube channel. Then I read the book. But basically, to be more productive, you just have to make your tasks, the things you have to do, you have to make them more enjoyable, because you wouldn't procrastinate something you enjoy, right? You wouldn't procrastinate taking a vacation. You wouldn't procrastinate, going for a walk on the beach with ice cream or something, right? So, yeah, another thing I really like about this book is it's easy to read. There's big print, and also if you watched any of Ali's videos, this kind of, the way he writes is kind of how he talks, which is kind of nice. You can almost hear him talking as you read it, which I like. And it's so organized. I don't know, that just makes me happy. Look at these contents. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And each part has exactly 3 chapters, and then you're done. So it's really easy to remember what you read, and easy to remember what chapter you need to go back to if you need to. The only thing I don't like about this book, and this has nothing to do with the actual content of the book, I think they have a paperback now, but the hardcover, I wish they had I wish they had the design on the hardcover. Most hardcover books don't do it, but when they do, it's just so nice. But that has nothing to do with the actual book. But yeah, this is a really good book. I mean, as it literally says right here, the secret to productivity isn't discipline, it's joy. So, highly recommend this book, especially if you've watched any of Ali's videos and you kind of like them. Go check this one out. Now, the last book I don't have in physical copy, but that's Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Now, I read this one a little more recently, and it was really just an eye-opener. I didn't really know too much about David Goggins beforehand, but it basically goes through his whole story. I don't think he's a Navy SEAL anymore, but yeah, he used to be a Navy SEAL, went through a lot of crazy things, had a very interesting and rough story. One recommendation would be just to read this when you're a little bit older. Just don't read this if you're like under 16. I don't know. It's a little bit rough. And if you've heard David Goggins speak, like it's basically how he speaks, right? But yeah, it's very eye-opening with the story. It's very inspirational, motivational. But one of the main things in there is how it's to do with mindset. But most things are mindset. And you have to like callous your mind. And yeah, I really like that. So if you want to improve your mindset, go check that book out. And yeah, those are the 4 books. We have Opportunity Knocks by Pat Mesiti, The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal, and Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. And as always, keep improving. Wait, no, I messed it up. As always, you're capable. Keep improving. I'll see you in the next one.